Pickaxe.
Join us at patreon.com/castparty for a whole plethora of exclusive goodies. 5-day early access to every Cast Party episode, including Nocturne, ad-free episodes, behind-the-scenes info, exclusive bonus monthly one-shots, access to our community Discord, where our community plays D&D games together, has game nights, and hosts so much more, all for less than the price of a single cup of coffee per month. Aren't convinced? Try out a free trial. 7 days free to check out the content that we offer only exclusively on our Patreon. Patreon.com/castparty. Support your favorite D&D podcast, all while getting some awesome perks. Patreon.com/castparty. See you there, casting crew.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cast Party. My name is Colin McManus, and I will be your director for today. I am joined by Ryan McManus.
Ryan McManus playing Bjorg Jorgensen, the Jewel of Debauchery.
Anna Brisbane.
Lenore DeVere, Chaos Fairy, excited to push all the buttons.
Nigel Deacon.
Hiya, I'm Nigel, playing Jackal Campman, the leopard loner striving for companionship and control.
Vince Perino.
Hi, Vince Perino playing Tevin Alkin, the mechanism of discovery, reconstructing memories one piece at a time.
Raquel Skellington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raquel Skellington. I play Poppy, the tender-hearted giant.
And Luis Carrazzo.
Hello, everybody. I'm Luis, playing Santos the Glavinator.
In our last episode, you all said your brief goodbyes to Mel before he left you in the wilderness as the rain started to pour down. Jack took you to a nearby campsite he had previously used, but remembered a nearby cave that would be considerably more shelter from the rain, but he wasn't quite sure if he could find it. He and Santos headed to find that cave, but in the meantime, Bjorg decided to teach Lenore how to shoot a gun as they both got bored.
I forgot about that.
Lenore shot at some apples, which caused Jack and Santos to come running and informed the group that they did indeed find the cave. Inside the dry shelter, Poppy opened the lockbox she got from Thorn, revealing a betting journal and 600 gold. Inside the journal, she found an advertisement for The Chasm, a fighting ring of sorts that none of you had ever heard of. As you all started to settle in, Lenore and Poppy talked about memories of both Ikaria and Earth. You learned Poppy remembers 2 lives, one from Earth, one from Ikaria. You also learned Lenore drowned wearing the outfit she still wears, and she was dressed as a fairy as it happened. You discussed a bit about the others' missing memories, and some of you put on the rings that Carmina gave you. Tevin even putting on a few extra. You headed to bed with an alarm set at the mouth of the cave. A few hours into the night, however, Bjorg dreamt of an old woman buying something from his cart and twisting one of the rings on his finger. Tevin, in his sentry mode, saw this same old woman holding Bjorg's arm up, grasping the ring from Carmina in her hand. You all woke up and threatened this crazed-looking woman in various ways. She told you, in rather hard-to-understand terms, that she was a whisperer of dreams, that she was lost and searching for dreams, that she found a rock, and the rock was a dream rock. She told you she found the rock because her dreams showed her the way, and she told you to follow your dreams, and then she left through the portal she arrived in from. Now it's early in the morning, and the group of you begin to awaken one by one. You hear the sound of frogs ribbiting outside, no doubt basking in the puddles of rain, though the rain has stopped overnight. It's still a bit cloudy and overcast, but there's a bit of light shining through the cave entrance. And so the scene is set. The question is, what will you do next?
I'm going to wake up, immediately go out to search for breakfast while people are starting to wake up. Hunt some squirrels, rabbits, a deer, perhaps.
Roll me survival.
18.
You could tell that the rain had stopped probably like an hour or so ago. It's still very overcast. And yeah, what are you able to catch?
A moose.
No.
Then why would you ask me that? I don't know. A small deer. I think before I get to the camp proper, like before I get to any sort of clearing, I'll try and like string up the deer to clean it and get any meat out that I can that would be good for this. Once I get back in, I'll work with Paprika to cook up some venison steaks and season them.
Realizing that it's more than we need for one meal, I'm going to help you dry some of it so we can make rations out of it and take it with us.
Paprika is doing the best she can to work with the seasoning she has.
What a great way to start the day.
Indeed.
I mean, it's no muffin.
Bjorg has been asleep until he heard the word muffin, but he's a little ornery because he got woken up by an old lady. We brought muffins.
I asked Paprika if she knows how to make venison muffins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bjorg, do you have an oven in your pocket?
No, but we might be able to use Waffle. What if I just turn him on low?
Does he have that setting?
I might have to tweak a little thing, but, you know.
Wait, well, if you can make a flamethrower, why can't you just put it into a box? Isn't that an oven?
Isn't Tevin an oven?
Oh, no response from Tevin. You just see him on top of the rock where he was sitting before in his sentry mode, still in sentry mode, but like in the same position, but just tinkering with his left hand with the rings that he has. Just too focused on that to listen.
I think he would need like an empty chest cavity, and then we could rig up Waffle to ignite a small flame to then utilize him as a convention oven, if that's what an oven.
He's done something like that though. He's put metal inside of his chest and then he's melted it down to bullets.
Oh, well, yes, but look at all the wiring. It clearly goes through his chest and stomach and everything. There's got to be something going on in there. What if it gets into his blood? I'll get Waffle. I take out the little toaster, very small toaster-like being with 4 little legs. I give him a little wind, and I'm going in with a screwdriver to kind of tweak the nozzle to make it a little less harsh of a flame. All right, Waffle, I'm going to have to stand you on your back. Hold on.
You didn't tell me we had a blowtorch. We could sear the venison.
While we eat this, we should probably figure out where we're going today.
Yes.
Not just today, but overall. Where are we going?
In life?
Oh, that's a big question.
I guess on the broad scale, yes, that is the question I'm asking. But on a more minute scale, are we living in this cave forever now?
No.
No, we can do better than this.
Okay, where are we going then?
Let's pull up that map.
On the bright side, the past 2-3 days, we've been on such a time restraint. Strict, back-to-back rushing. And for once, we have all the time in the world.
I guess that's kind of true.
Seems like it.
Nowhere to be, nothing to do.
So the map is out. Santos, where did you live?
Actually, not too far, I don't think.
Can you point to it on the map?
I do point to it. Are there any rolling hills or any mountain ranges, anything, terrain that's difficult to have to traverse to get there?
No, not from at least what this map has. This map is not a complete map by any means. It does have major riverways. It does look like it has mountains on it. The only words it has on it are twin rivers. There are some other settlements and stuff on the map, but just like a single house as like a symbol of a settlement that is in this location. And where you believe you remember your home to be, you notice there is no settlement there, but you're positive it's there, further than your home. You see one of these circles that denotes a location where one of the pieces of Ilos's orbital had fallen.
So I'll point all that out and I'll say, I mean, it's been a very long time since I've been home and I am having gaps in my memory. So all that I remember from it are like early childhood things. So I think it's around here, and at least there's other points that we might want to look into that are near that as well.
Are you okay with going back home?
I mean, yeah.
Why'd you leave?
I don't remember that.
Oh.
I remember my childhood there. And then once I started getting into adolescence, that's where everything starts to get really kind of foggy. I kind of remember feeling like I just went through a phase where I was tired, just rebellious, got in some kind of fight with my parents and took off. Everything gets foggy. I know I met people that helped teach me how to, just sort of get by, but I don't remember ever going back. And then I ended up in Twin Rivers.
You'll hear a large ping ring out in the cave as I jump down from that upper rock and walk over to that map. You say all of our homes are on this?
Not all of us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess unless you count Twin Rivers as our home.
Then who is not on here?
I don't know if my home's on there.
Well.
Wow! Thanks, Lenore. Go ahead, point to your home now. Oh, wait, you're exiled for the second fucking time.
All right. Take it easy.
Well, we're all having memory problems, and that's something that we want to figure out. And these rings are another way to see if there's some answers. So do we want to spend some time today figuring out what these rings can do? Do we want to head towards the northeast and at least stop by a couple places on our way to that other crash site?
Yeah.
Especially if that could lead us to somewhere more permanent. If that's what people are looking for.
Let's put them all on Tevin and see if anything happens.
He's already got mine.
He's already got mine.
I reach mine out towards Tevin.
Yes, you can have mine too.
I'll give him mine.
You look like me now, Tevin. And I raise my hands and I wiggle my fingers.
Hold up my hands and wiggle just like you. Brothers.
All right, well, I'm going to start to gather my stuff because it seems I'm under the impression that we're going to get moving. So I'll start to do that.
Poppy does the same. Packs up her bag.
You got some extra rations made from the good parts of the venison that could be easily dried quickly.
Can I take the antlers?
Yeah. And Jack, as you look at the map, provided that the scale of the map is right, you assume it's probably 50 miles to Ilos's nearest orbital. You think it would probably take about 4 days of walking?
Does the map depict like roads leading to these places, or is it going to be like traversing through the woods?
Roll me survival with advantage, and this will also be the check for the travel as well.
If I may, knowing you well at this point, I think I can tell when you're starting to kind of figure out a plan and you're looking at the map. I will go near you and look with you and tap you on the shoulder and give you guidance.
I'll use that. Nice. 19.
Most of this is going to be on trails and roads.
I will convey those options to the group, let them know the idea I'm working through, and gear up to head out.
Okay.
I follow Jackal.
Sounds good.
As you guys are leaving, you're mostly walking through forests, often along trails or old roads. Still overcast, but again, sun begins to peek through the clouds every so often. Jack, as you are getting further away from Twin Rivers, you get to the point where you're not even sure if this is the furthest you've been away from the walls since you started working alongside Nightshade or not. One thing that you are actually pretty surprised by is how clear some of these paths are. There's more movement on the trails than you would necessarily expect, especially this far from Twin Rivers. You do know that Nightshade does long trips to different cities and carrying important people or goods long distances, but it's just a bit surprising considering how you don't really hear all that much about how much that happens, what kinds of cargo are leaving, and how far they're going. There are times, Jackal, where you know it would be much faster to head through the forest or take less traveled roads based off of the map. So there are times where you guys head through more thicker forest rather than trails, having to cut down branches in your way, even heading up or down some harsh inclines and using roots of trees to make sure you're safe. But overall, it cuts down travel time. Your travel takes most of the day. And I want to know what happens as you travel. So we're going to do a bit of a travel montage of you all moving through the wilderness over the next few days. So we're not in combat, but I want to have us roll initiative for this, and we'll pick a little order.
Oh my god.
I got a 24, nat 20 plus 4.
God damn.
Oh.
Oh, of course you get a perfect 30.
I rolled a 19, so I have plus 11 and advantage on initiative now, so
I thought it was an 18, but it was a 9 on its side. And I'm just dumb.
13.
8.
Jack, I want you to just describe to me one thing that may have been odd or interesting that happened to you during your travels today?
While we were walking, in one of the calmer times where it's either a beaten down trail or an actual road, I pull out the rock that has been in my pack. I've been taking obvious care to not throw my pack around while it's in there, and like I had the egg in the cart. I like pull it out and start like polishing it to do like a spit shine on it just to make sure that it's clean, and I'm kind of like looking at it in the light, and I'm just trying to figure out why I'm so enamored with it. Kind of just looks like a pretty ovular rock. Big, but it's just a rock. But for some reason I have this like intense care for it. And I'm like just running through like why that might be. I remember that dream that I had when I punched that guy, and remember seeing the rock that was there, or what looked like a rock, and thinking maybe that has something to do with it. But I had this rock before I had that dream, so just a lot running through my mind.
And right at that moment, the sun peeks through the clouds, illuminates the grass around you, and beats down on you, and it feels so extra hot. And you blink, and for a second, as you're looking down at this rock, it looks like sand beneath your feet, much like your dream, until you shake it off. And you still have that rock in hand. The sun is beating down, but a much more calm temperature, a more normal temperature. Poppy, what's something interesting that happened to or around, or what did you see?
In between, like while we're traveling, Poppy would have taken the time to sit and maybe resole her shoes, making the soles a little bit thicker, better for travel. Probably would have been a little bit contemplative during this journey, but more or less, I think she would have focused on soling her shoes.
You're busy resoling your shoe, and all of a sudden you see a squirrel dart up and try to grab at the rations that Jackal have set next to you.
Poppy pulls her rations that she has out of her bag and throws some to the squirrel.
The squirrel runs up, starts sniffing it, making sure it's something that it would want, pulls off a little piece and sits in front of you and nibbles, not really glancing towards you or away, but does not run away, even though you're just a few feet from it.
Animal handling? Animal handling?
Sure, yeah. Roll animal handling. Let's see how it
I've been
works.
waiting to do this the whole game. No! No! I got a 6.
Oh,
I was gonna be like, you want to be my little guy? You want to be my little, like, I think Poppy leans towards the squirrel and is like, oh, you can be my little friend.
You guys are enjoying a bite to eat together, and then you just move a little bit too quick while trying to reach your hand out, and it quickly scurries up a nearby tree, but it does take that piece of ration.
I'll walk up. Did you want to eat that? I can get it so you don't like lose.
No, I gave it to him. You know, it's fine. I'm cool.
Oh no, I meant the squirrel. Did you want to eat the squirrel?
No, I didn't.
Is that why you were going for it?
No, you don't have to. We don't have to take revenge on the little guy.
I just wanted to check.
Appreciate it, but no.
The rest of the day goes by without a hitch, nothing too exciting. The long travel takes its toll on all of your bodies. Most of you are not accustomed to walking 20 miles in a day, especially through thick forest. Jack, you're able to find a nice location to set up camp for the night, just off a pretty overgrown trail. The weather looks decent enough for the night. It's evening by this point, and you're all able to settle down, eat whatever rations you want, make fire, get as much shelter going as you can. Is there anything anyone wants to do before heading to sleep for the night?
something interesting after having spent like now over a day out here and out of the city. Santos is standing and just kind of looking up at the open sky for the first time, taking in the quiet and the recognition that things are different. I'm going to pull Bjorg over. And I just go up to you. I was standing there looking up, and then I just turn over. I see you, and I all you notice is me just like grabbing your arm and tugging you to where I was. I look up and then look at you and look up. Bjorg, what do you hear out here?
You know, I was thinking about that before we stopped. The crickets are so fucking loud out here. I can hear everything. Like in Twin Rivers, I'm used to hearing, like, everything. The carts and the hustle and bustle of all the people and the gladiators at the dome, wherever I am in the city. Like, there's always something going on. And here there's nothing, and I don't know what to do about it. I feel like I have to fill the silence. It's weird to me.
Your mind is loud, isn't it?
Everything is loud.
I put my hand over your mouth. Just do something for me. Just close your eyes. Try to quiet your mind a little bit. And there's the crickets, and there's the frogs, and there's an owl out there somewhere too. You hear anything else?
No. Not after I take it all in, I guess. Focusing on one specific thing kind of shuts everything up.
This is going to sound really weird and probably kind of dumb, and now I'll move my hand to your chest. I can hear my heartbeat out here. It's that quiet to me.
You'll feel his pick up a little bit. It's interesting, isn't it? How... Were your days busy? My days seem so jam-packed, and I guess I don't know to the extent of how everyone else lived in Twin Rivers. I know you were with Nightshade. And to have you running around like a chicken with your head cut off, or was it a little more relaxed? Is this out of the normal for you to be so quiet and at peace with nothing to do? No schedule, no routines, no routes.
I think it's that, but I mean, a lot of the time they had me at the gate. And I had a lot of time on my hands to just sit and watch, but it's just everything else, all the noise of the city. And there's something really weird that happens when you're put in a position where you got to watch other people, because the truth is they all know that you're there to watch them, and they're watching you back. There's a different kind of, I don't know. I feel like this quiet is different. I feel like I can disappear a little bit, and my mind is not worried about who might be watching me.
I think it's more of a what might be watching us right now than who. But that's besides the point. I think the others feel a little bit of the same. It's hard to figure out who people really are underneath the mask that they put on. Twin Rivers, I mean, you're Nightshade. Look at your fucking uniform you have to put on every day. You're kind of judged right off the bat on first looks. You see that insignia, they see the colors. Some people are immediately put off by that. Some people feel tense, like they have to put up their guard. And others, though few, feel a sense of safety knowing they're around authority.
Yeah. It's really weird knowing that you're someone that really wants people to like you, and then you have to put on that costume and people look at you in a different way. Did you know that you snore?
What the fuck? Nope, no.
I mean, it's not loud. It's not loud. Like, I think that I only noticed that one time that that I stayed at your place, and it's not like a snore.
Uh-huh.
It's just you breathe. It's a heavy breathing. That's like almost a snore.
Uh-huh.
But it's not. It's just you breathe very deep when you sleep, and you make a noise.
Maybe it's because I can actually get some good sleep in a nice bed, but maybe you'll have some peace and quiet.
It didn't bother me. It actually was sort of comforting.
Noted. I'll try to do it more for you, Santos. And if it helps, you're the one Nightshade member I can tolerate.
Huh. I think that's a compliment.
It should be.
Well, it's nice to know that I'm tolerable.
Vio gives you a little pat on the back and looks back up at the stars. It's interesting. I feel like if I were going back home for the first time, my mind would be racing. That's not eating at you or anything.
No. Maybe I should be worried about that.
No, I didn't mean to start this. I was just asking. Don't get anxious.
I'm not. That's the thing, is that I feel so detached that it's not bringing up any feelings at all.
So instead of like you're revisiting the past, you're almost making a new experience, forging a new memory.
I think it's that I have a lot of I remember the place, I remember things that I did, and it's all tied into my childhood, and I remember my parents, but I remember being so separate from it all. I remember them interacting with each other, and I remember hearing them talk to each other, but I can't make out the words. There's laughter. It almost feels like I was watching people perform. You're not even paying attention.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you seem distracted.
I'm tired.
Fine. Well, we should get some sleep.
You think I would be used to this walking by now, but most of the time I just walk around the city and then I park my cart for a couple hours. I'm not used to walking day in and day out.
I think you're just not used to the quiet. You keep wanting to try to find noise when there really isn't that much.
You know, I want to disagree with you, but the second I get back to my little bedroll, I'm going to immediately take out my tools and start making more noise.
Well, we should go see what the others are up to anyway. I think they might want to take a look at the rings if they're all sleepy enough.
Oh, right, about those. Kind of forgot. Let's hope it brings something, I guess.
Really hope it does for Tevin more than anybody. But I'll start walking back.
I'll hang back for one moment. Look at the stars for like 10 more seconds. A little sigh and then walk back.
Hey, Poppy,
Yes, Lenore?
were you born in Chicago?
Yes.
Have you ever been to New York?
No.
I've never been to Chicago either.
Are you from New York? Forgive me, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm from Queens.
So, let me ask you something. Can you only remember up to the moment that you drowned?
Yeah. And then I woke up drowning in Twin Rivers. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and basically in the same outfit, but real?
Yeah.
Do you want to go home?
Not really.
Were you the same as you are here?
No. Not really at all.
This isn't a game to you, is it? Like, this feels real to you, right? Like, not like you're in a...
Well, the stakes don't feel as serious. 'Cause now I know if I die, I'll just wake up somewhere else. I never knew what would happen when I died before. But now I know.
Well, nah, but we don't know that, actually.
But that's what happened.
It may have happened when your mind arrived here, but it doesn't mean that if this body's gone, that you're just gonna wake up again. I've been here a while, it feels like, and this is real. This isn't a game.
Yeah, it's real. It is real.
But
But if someone dies, it's not as big a deal as I thought.
I can't say I necessarily agree with that. I think none of us really have an idea of the full depth and potential of this world.
Well, I guess it is true that maybe if you died, you might wake up in some place that's really terrible, like a real hell or something. That would suck, but then what if you just die again and you're like, okay, put me somewhere else?
You know, there is something to be said about reincarnation. I can't say that I'm not a fan of the concept, but honestly, Lenore, I think it would do you good to maybe think of this as your last shot.
Why? Why would this be a last shot? I'm so much happier here and thinking this way.
There's nothing wrong with grounding.
I look down at my feet that are not touching the ground.
It might be good for you to touch the grass for a little while.
Touch the grass? Why?
Well, there's something to be said about nature and how it connects us. There was stuff I used to read back home about everybody being connected and it bringing us a sense of peace. All meditation is giving you the ability within your mind's eye to feel yourself. And maybe while you're here, that's a lesson that you're supposed to learn. So maybe taking a moment and touching the grass might help you feel more you.
Okay. Just sit in it and touch it and close my eyes?
Yeah, just like relax. I meditate all the time. It's something that I tried to do back in my other life, but I wasn't really in an environment that was particularly conducive to letting me do so. And it's been something that since I've been here has frankly really changed my perspective.
What was your perspective?
Pretty bleak.
Same.
Poppy trails off as she shines her shoe. But it doesn't gotta be that way now. And whatever brought us, or this version of us here, to meld with whatever version of us is here, we should, in a way, respect it. I think when we take things for granted, the universe punishes us in kind and teaches us that you should respect what you have. Because when you don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm not taking any of you for granted.
Don't take yourself for granted either. Maybe walk on the ground sometimes. Poppy snorts.
Oh, these shoes are so uncomfortable, but they're so cute.
I can make you cute and comfortable shoes.
That are platforms.
I can figure something out.
Okay, I'm interested. Was your name always Poppy?
No. But it was my chosen name.
You don't like your old name?
No. I don't really like the old me either.
What's your last name?
What are you doing? Are you interrogating me for a job interview?
Yeah, for a job of cobbler of my shoes.
I don't know if I'm ready to share that yet. Can I get back to you?
Okay.
I don't like thinking about it. I wanted to be different. I asked to be different. And I guess I was heard. And I feel like every time home comes calling or something reminds me of what was before, it's never something good. I try and distance myself. I think that's why I'm always a little cagey around it, but I'll work through it.
Yeah, you can make a new last name if you want.
That's true. But what about your name?
I mean, I've kind of been using a last name that technically was not my last name yet, but was gonna be.
Do you remember them?
Yeah.
What were they like? Do you remember their name?
Yeah, his name was Guy.
Wait, the guy's name was Guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Creative, I guess.
He was an English professor.
He was an English professor. Well, then what did you do? How did you meet an English professor?
We met in college. I was studying education. He was studying literature.
You wanted to teach kids?
Yep. That's what I did.
I'm so curious as how you found yourself in the water then. A teacher doesn't really seem somebody who would be likely to drown in a fairy outfit.
No, it was an accident.
Did you fall?
Yeah.
Are you sure you weren't pushed?
Yeah, I was alone.
Do you want to go home?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess I miss the students. But things were getting kind of weird with Guy and my family and stuff, so I don't know if I want to deal with that again.
That's rough. I'm sorry.
It's okay, I'm here now, and this place is awesome.
Yeah, it is, but it's also dangerous. And she takes one of her big fingers and taps you on the top of your head. And listen, you don't know if you'll wake up again if you end up on the bottom of a giant shoe.
Well, I still think I will. That's what faith is, right? How long does it take to make shoes?
All right, you gotta give me a couple of days. I'm making something.
I'm
all
not
right?
being demanding. I'm just curious. Couple days is fine.
Okay, well, you got tiny feet, so it might take less time, but on average, it takes me at least a day and a half.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Getting pretty late. You're all able to find bedrolls, at least places to set up. Jackal's probably got a fire going by this point. Kevin finding a good spot to look over the camp in sentry mode.
Before we all go to sleep, I would like to go to each person and offer them their ring back.
No, I think you should keep mine.
I believe it might be best if we all at least try. If each one of us has one, maybe we have better opportunities to figure out how they work.
I don't know. I'm looking around at everyone else.
If you want to give it back, I'll take it back, Tevin.
Okay.
Solidarity.
I'm going to hold my hand out to each person, like fingers flayed out, like, here you go, wiggle them. You got to pull it off.
Hey, that was mine.
Says who? You didn't put it on.
Yes, I did.
You gave it right to Tevin.
Just see if you wake up with any rings.
Wow, thief. Okay.
All right, take it easy.
Please, if you could all report back to me in the morning, I would greatly appreciate it.
See what happens.
Aye, Captain.
I'll roll out my bedroll and play with the ring a little bit as I crawl in and lay down and think of dreams and memories.
Santos, as you head to sleep for the night, you find yourself, like you said, thinking of dreams and memories, and the things that keep popping up are these faded memories of your home, especially with Bjorg bringing it up. And you start to hear the words of the woman who invaded your cave last night. Follow your dreams, be quiet because dreams whisper. You're hearing her say these things, that she was lost and searching for dreams. And as your heartbeat slows, as your brain calms down, you find yourself thinking about that childhood, your family home, and this familiarity arises in your mind, and you drift into a dream about that home. What's the dream about?
It's weird because although I'm falling asleep in my dream, I'm waking up. And I remember a really warm, sunny day and the way the sun would beam through the window and onto my bed, how that makes the blankets warm up. At the same time, it makes you want to stay in bed for a lot longer because you know that the second you throw the blankets off, it's going to feel cold at first. I see this room and it's perfect. I hear birds, I feel the warmth of the sun, I hear laughter in the other room. I remember it's my birthday. My parents would always leave a gift at the foot of the bed so that the first thing that I would see when I wake up is a present. But this time it's not there. I suddenly get this feeling that I lost it, that I did something wrong. And that makes me jump out of bed and I feel the cold and there's still laughter happening in the other room and it starts to sort of slow down a little bit. And I'm looking around with this like anxious feeling, knowing that I'm going to get in trouble unless I find this thing that I lost.
This dream is so serene and so calm, and then turns to almost panic as you start searching through the room. You're looking in drawers, looking in the closet. Heartbeat continues to get stronger until you hear the alarm clock goes off. A loud ringing of a bell. You rush over and you stop the sound. You have this fleeting moment of fear and then a fleeting moment of uncomfort. of not knowing what's going to happen when you open that door.
I grab a hold of that alarm clock and I follow the cord to where it's plugged in, and I unplug it and I wrap the cord around it, and I'm looking at this thing that looks familiar, but I don't know what it is. It's this really weird thing. I go and hide in the closet.
You open the door, pull yourself in, and you close it. And you just remember this feeling of not knowing what's coming next, And you stay there for a long time, just standing. And in this dream, Santos, you are feeling every second of it. This time doesn't skip. You remember each and every second you felt like you were in that closet. And eventually you hear the door to your room open, and there's footsteps. And then you see light shine as your eyes have adjusted to the darkness, but the door to the closet is open. And you remember this bright light makes your vision go all white. And all you have in your hand is this alarm clock. When your eyes adjust, you're no longer in the closet. You don't see the room. You don't see who opened the door. Instead, you're outside. Bright sun comes down at you, and instead of this alarm clock wrapped up in your hands, you have bags, items of yours. You're taller now. You feel stronger. There's more hair on your arms, and you remember leaving home. You don't remember why you were leaving. This wasn't your first time leaving home by any means, but this one felt different. Every 100 steps or so, you kept turning around until you passed something. Every time you had left home previously, no matter how long you were gone, when you were on your way back into town, there was one thing that you would see that told you were close, that you were almost home. Whether it be a bridge, a bend in the road, a notable landmark, whatever it be, whenever you were coming home, it told you home was just ahead. What is that for Santos?
It's an orange tree on the corner. And I remember we weren't allowed to pick the oranges, but I would always do it anyway. They just fall on the ground and rot. I think I remember leaving this time and turning to look at that orange tree, and it was gone. Someone cut it down.
What you had always seen as a sign of welcome was a sign of goodbye. And as you left home going the opposite direction, you wanted to turn back and imagine the orange tree there, or to just look at the stump that was there, but it felt wrong. You just remember the last times that you had come back, and remembering that orange tree, and your mind focuses on those images, the old times of returning home. And you remember the comfort you would feel every time you saw it. And that comfort stays, and you sleep soundly the rest of the night.
So how about them being asleep in the woods?
What about them being asleep in the woods?
How's it going?
Good.
Everybody sleeping in the woods?
Who's asleep in the woods?
Well, one of you sleepwalk. Sleepwalk? Yeah, sleepwalks.
Everybody roll for sleepwalk.
Sleepwalks?
Sorry.
Lowest roll actually sleepwalks tonight. I got an 11.
Uh-oh. 19.
17.
Oh no.
I used to sleepwalk as a kid, so this is
Did
a
you really?
possibility for me. Yeah.
Oh, that's so spooky.
Oh, I got fucking 12, so I might be sleepwalking.
No, it's higher than Bjorg's.
No, I got a 9.
Thank God.
Oh, we're gonna sleepwalks.
8.
No, it's Lenore.
It's Lenore.
Lenore, sleepwalk, wild magic surge.
Dang.
I think I'd flutter tiptoe away from the group, and I'd go up into a tree, and I'd look for a sleeping squirrel, and I'd try to catch it.
You are in a tree and looking about. You see movement and you're imagining a squirrel in front of you, and you dive at it. You fall right through these branches you start falling out of the tree. You feel like in your dream that you are falling from the sky, but instead of having that feeling of hitting the ground, you have this feeling of the wings going wide to catch you and stopping you, and you wake up halfway down this tree with your wings out catching you.
I look around, I'm looking for camp, I just yell and fly back to camp.
Is everyone awake? Are you, Bo? One eye open, like trying to get the sleep out of my eye. Are you okay?
I was trying to catch a squirrel and then I fell and then I woke up and I fell but my wings caught me and I'm okay.
Oh, okay. We've all been there. And I just fall back asleep.
I'm sorry I couldn't catch your squirrel, Bjorg. I really tried.
What now? Eyes completely closed still.
I'll get it next time.
I believe you. Good luck.
Good night.
Hey.
You all awaken in the morning.
Good morning. Do we have an oven yet?
No.
I'm gonna do my normal morning routine of getting up and going out to find some additional breakfast. I'll add in a vegetarian option with some berries and nuts. I don't know how often nuts grow wildly, so I'm not gonna just find peanuts out there. Yeah.
You find some acorns and stuff that you're able to cook down if you want to. You boil them, I think.
You roast them.
You would need an oven for that.
You can roast on a fire. No?
We'll saute them.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
You're gonna tell me the song lied?
It's about chestnuts, not acorns.
I have a question, Colin. The alarm clock in my dream, am I able to recognize what that was? I imagine I'm waking up and I'm remembering this thing that was making sound, and in my mind it was digital. I'm just wondering if I remember it right now.
Right now, you remember the object. I don't think Santos would know to call it an alarm clock or know how it works necessarily, but he would remember a loud object. It was placed by your bed. You remember the cord plugging into the wall.
I'll just go to the group immediately. Well, I don't know about any of you all, but I had a dream and it had something weird in it that I don't recognize, and I'm hoping maybe one of you can help me figure out what it might be.
What was it? I had a crazy dream too.
Oh, well, I felt like I was in my childhood home, and it's different from what I remember, but I woke up. Then there was an object near my bed that was shaped like a rectangle, and it had numbers on it, and it was making a noise like meh, meh,
It's an alarm clock.
meh.
It's an alarm clock.
The hell is that?
Well, so think about, we have clocks, right? Basically, back home, it was the worst thing that you could have in your room. It would wake you up on time. So instead, like, you know how Bjorg can set alarms and stuff like that with his cool little creatures and his little like spells and stuff. It's just like that, but in a box, and there's no magic.
It was really annoying.
Yep.
If you need to get up for work, you set a time and it wakes you up.
It makes a very shrill, horrific sound that gets you up.
It's just magic. I mean, you said it's not magic, but it sounds just like magic. That's Bjorg. You could do that, right?
How would I waste that on a thing to just annoy me?
That's so true.
Mine keep me safe.
I'm sorry I couldn't get your squirrel back.
My squirrel, what?
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 Acorns are actually delicious.
I'm telling you, we could probably put acorns inside of Tevin, and it will roast them way faster.
Yeah, put the acorns in the bullet maker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, shit. Brilliant.
I do that.
I do that. I say it so fast that you can't stop me.
I don't stop him. I'm just standing.
I go through the steps that I've seen him go through. Feels weird.
You put the acorns in it, and Tevin, you try to make bullets out of them. All of a sudden, it feels like you have heartburn, the equivalent of humans having heartburn, and you feel this grinding inside of you, and all of a sudden there's this loud crack. Opening up again, you can see shattered portions of acorns that are definitely not in bullet form, broken up inside of this little cavity.
I scoop him out.
I had a feeling something like that would happen.
This was quite unpleasant.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tevin.
Santos, you said you had a dream.
I did.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Bjorn confessed to me about his squirrel wife,
Oh,
That's new.
What?
What was her name?
Charlotte.
Oh.
And what was done?
She ran off.
No, what did you do to get these dreams to occur?
Oh, I don't know. I went to sleep. I was wearing the ring, I guess. But I have dreams without the ring.
I was trying to think really hard about getting some memories back and having the dreams be the way to that. I don't know if that had something to do with it, but I was very intentional with how I was drifting to sleep.
At least we have one step that has worked so far. We all shall try it tonight.
Okay.
Poppy walks over to Bjorg and taps him on the shoulder. Hey, can I ask you something?
If it's about my squirrel wife, I don't know.
No, unfortunately, it's not about your squirrel wife. It's more about these. And like Poppy rummages out of her pocket and takes out these really cute boot pumps, like really small boot pumps that she's been working on in a light leather. But she's like clearly trying to hide them so that like not everyone sees them. You got some dye?
Probably. Somewhere, depending on what color you're looking for.
You got like an indigo or a blue?
Yeah, 1 second. Paprika!
Yes?
Can you find me anything that looks like indigo, please?
Oh, yes, I've already categorized everything in here.
What the fuck have you been up to?
You can't have a dirty pantry. You need to know what your ingredients are.
I like you, Paprika. I'm glad we brought you along.
Wow, that's crazy.
Little vial of dye. It's definitely a dye concentrate that you'd have to dilute with water. Looks like a nice indigo.
I grab it from her very small page peeking out of my pocket. From Paprika herself.
Hey, thanks. And then I lean over towards the bag and I'm like, thanks, Paprika.
Of course.
Well, I better get to work. Thanks. Obi-Wan.
As you all pack up and head out for the day, you have another long day ahead of you. Jack, you know, probably by the end of the day, if the map is right, you'll be probably to Santos's home before nightfall. During this time, next in our initiative order for our montage is Santos. Santos, what's something that happens to you throughout this day?
Oh. Huh. Last night, I remember looking up at that sort of partly cloudy night sky, and I think right now I'm sort of, as we walk, taking in the nature and the breeze and the sun. And when we take a little bit of a break, I find a meadow and I lay back and I look up at the clouds that are floating by, and I'm just pointing out the shapes that I see.
Poppy, I think, would join Santos on I guess, the grass and lay back looking up with him, either agreeing or not agreeing with what he points out as a shape.
I remember one time when I was a kid, I was looking up at the sky and I swore that I saw a floating island. I saw a cloud that looked like it had a landmass on top of it. I couldn't believe my eyes, but I swear to this day that floating islands exist.
Well, you know, maybe they do.
What do you think that one is?
It looks like a clover, like a 4-leaf clover.
Those are lucky.
Oh, I think we're pretty lucky. I don't know what you've been through before, but I hope going home helps you find some more peace.
Kind of want to know more about this alarm thing.
The clock?
It's the first time I really thought that. I don't know, this other world and stuff that you and Lenore talk about. I mean, it seems pretty obvious that maybe that could be something that connects us. And I don't know anything about that place. And I'm wondering, well, who the fuck was I then? I have a whole gap that I don't really remember. And that's like the majority of my adulthood. I like not knowing who I was because in my mind, I get to kind of choose.
Actually, I never really thought about it that way before. I've had to make a choice, and it's something I wished for, but I made the choice to be different. I guess it must feel, in a way, freeing that you can be anything. I'm glad that you chose to be you.
What if you forgot who you were over there and you got to make up who you could have been? What would you choose?
Poppy rubs her hand on her chin, actually sits up a little on her forearms. I don't know if I would. I've had a lot of time to think about it. If we erase our past, we wouldn't be who we are. I wouldn't be me right now if I didn't go through everything that I went through, if life wasn't hell, or I wasn't fighting against oppressions in my world that I had to. I just simply wouldn't be who I am. So I think in a way, while yes, it would be so easy to forget, and there was a long time that I wanted to, I can't necessarily say now that I would.
It's a really good place to be. I'm just going to sit here until they make me get up and go.
And you hear like a loud, like, come from Poppy's stomach. She's like, okay, all right, I'll leave you and be here, but I think I'm going to go eat some of my rations.
I'll be there in a sec.
All right.
Look up at the sky for a little while.
A few moments later, you hear Jackal start to round everybody up to get moving again, and you take one last look at the clouds. There's a big fluffy one right ahead. It just looks so oddly like the silhouette of that orange tree.
Because I'm close to home.
And Lenore, I want you to tell me something that happened to you.
While we're on the move, I'm flying up above the treetops. And I just want to look in all directions, but especially in the direction we're going to see if I can see any settlements, anything, and in the direction back to Twin Rivers to see if I can see anything.
As you are in the air flying about, today especially is the first day with a lot less dark clouds and there's a lot more sunlight. And so you're up, it's bright, it feels really nice. There's a lot of wind cooling you off. You're looking ahead, getting a little bit hilly, not mountainous, but just a little bit more hilly. There's not really a lot of exciting movement other than the trees, the treetops themselves moving in the wind as the wind blows all the leaves together. All of a sudden, there's this big gust of wind as the others are walking beneath you and you're flying up above the treetops. All of a sudden, there's all of these birds that come up around you and they start flapping around and they look like they're moving from one tree to another in these big groups. But a lot of them, as they're flying by, stop mid-air to look at you. They move their heads back and forth.
I move my heads the same way.
They try to get you to join them.
Okay.
These flock of birds moving all as one giant unit, and the rest of you can see up and in it that Lenore is floating throughout.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
In a way, looks like she ends up directing them in these different patterns.
Woo!
Until they all swoop back down into the trees. They find a nearby tree that looks like it's got apples growing out of it.
I want to try to bite an apple. I'm friends.
Oh, God.
I'm friends with the birds.
Well, don't start building a nest with them or anything like that. You don't want to be laying eggs.
Ugh. No.
Continuing on for a few more hours. It's not quite dusk yet. Area around is getting a little bit more of that orangish color as the sun is starting to go down. And as you're walking and Santos ahead, you see the path diverge. Right as this path diverges, you see Jackal start going to the right, the others following, and in this corner, you see a stump. And right next to it is about a 3-foot tall sapling of an orange tree. And for today, that's a wrap.
Wow.
I'm going home.
I loved it.
Curious.
What the?
Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you next week over on Behind the Scenes, patreon.com/castparty, where we can talk all the things. There was so much lore We're enjoying the chaos. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
That big lumpy one kind of looks like a new guy. He was always trying to carry too much on his back, bent over real far like that. Anne always told him he was going to hurt himself. Even made him a back brace to help. He just used it to haul more stuff. Oh, and that one? It stretched real thin, all wispy and torn apart. That reminds me of Bass Drop. Yeah. That reminds me of Bass Drop that time he got caught in that windstorm. Nearly pulled him right off the docks into the river, his hair being pulled by the wind just like that. Braggins grabbed him before he fell off, but she lost her hat in the process. Wind must have took it a mile away because no one ever found it. Oh, and that big one. Got that curl at the end. Looks just like Havoc Hopsack's stew pot. Even in the clouds, you can see the delicious smell coming out of it. Then Dubward tried his hand at the stew, swore up and down that he could cook even better, until St. E-Love's kitchen was turned into a bonfire. He still wouldn't admit that it was his fault. That one there? That one looks kind of like a dragon. We had this new officer come in and give a speech. Had a dragon just like that on his banner. Officer Eric 5. What a mess of a speech. Thought everybody would know him before he got there. Then Heather got up and tripped over the podium, knocking it over and breaking it. Isuik had a good laugh from that crowd. Wasn't so happy when he was tasked with rebuilding the podium, however. That long, winding one there looks just like the main road leading out of Twin Rivers. I still remember being on guard duty when Jesky Fire swore she was never coming back. Didn't even make it one night before she was begging at Jonas to open the door past curfew to let her back in the city. That cloud. That one looks like a rowboat. I haven't been on a boat in so long. I'm so glad I missed Judgment Day's fishing trip, though. He swore he'd bring enough fish to feed the whole city. Then he gets back. We hear that Kaylee got seasick. Lexi dropped both oars twice. And Opti. Well, I still don't understand how Opti managed to set water on fire, but they all swore it happened. You see that? It looks like some storm clouds in the distance. Definitely angry looking. Oh, I remember a storm like that brewing on Ryan's face as he stormed back into town after hearing Bubba sent him on a wild goose chase. Yeah, for a literal golden goose. Turned out he wanted to set up a surprise party for when Ryan came back. They even got Winkle to paint a goose gold just for the joke. Yeah, I gotta admit, even on a day like that, it'd make me laugh.